Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah Bahashem, Yahawashi Bahashem, Rekak Wadash. I would like to give double honors to the head apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the true leaders of Israel to this day, who taught me this truth. And I would like to say shalom to all the Akim and the Akwath that's believing on this truth and that's seeking their salvation at the hands of Yahawah and his only begotten son, Yahawashi. I would like to say shalom. So today I want to go into a video and speak on how taking the death is better than allowing this devil to defile your temple. And I have an example pulled up in the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, speaking about our forefather Eleazar, okay, how he would rather take death than to allow these goddamn devils to defile his temple. And before we get into this account, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 2. The point is in verse 10, but we'll start up from verse 1 and read down into it. It says, "My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptations. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure." Okay, because we're coming into a time, okay, where we're going to have to enter in at the straight gate. We're coming into the time where we're going to be tempted. Okay, and it says, set your heart aright. All right, we have to get our mind right, as it tells you in the book of 1 Peter's. Let's go here. Chapter 1 and 13. It says, "Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope into the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelations of Yahawashi Hamashiach." So we have to gird up the loins of our mind, okay, as we are quickly approaching Jacob's trouble, as we're quickly approaching the time of temptations, okay, where this MOTB, okay, which is the CHIP, is going to be mandated, okay, and you're going to have a choice, okay, to take it, okay, or be put to death. Take it or be exiled from this man's society, okay? Decisions are getting ready to be made, and what you believe in is going to play a crucial part into the decisions you're going to make in these last days, okay? And that's why it's very important to understand prophecy. That's why it's very important to understand the end game. All right. Going back. Verse 2. "Set thy heart aright and constantly endure." Okay. "He that endureth to the end, okay, the same shall be saved." We have to endure to the end. "And make not haste in the time of trouble." Okay. Don't make hasty decisions, okay, in these last days. All right. A lot of people decision making is getting ready to get them put to death. Okay. A lot of people decision making is getting ready to have them go down into Egypt for help. Okay. And they're going to get that chip put up in their ass. Okay. And that's going to be a first class ticket to nuclear destruction. All right. Verse 3, "Cleave unto him." Okay. Cleave unto who? Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. "And depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at that last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." And as a believer, okay, you have to know it's a great chance that we're going to be turned, okay, into a lower state. Okay, you're going to lose houses, cars, jobs. Okay, and we're seeing that on a low scale right now. Okay, dealing with this government shutdown. A lot of people are losing their jobs, not knowing where their next paycheck is going to come from, but they still got a mortgage. They still got a car note. Okay, see, this devil has put a lot of people into a snare. All right. A lot of people, okay, are put into a snare over here in Babylon the Great. Okay, they have laden themselves, okay, with this man's thick clay, which is debt. All right. See, this goddamn devil is going to make it so uncomfortable in America where people are going to be willing to give their souls up, okay, to enter in back to their convenience, to get back to their breads and circuses, all right? To get back to some type of a form of normalcy, all right? And without Yahawashi, without understanding this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, without having the spirit of Yahawashi to guide you in these last days, okay, a lot of people are getting ready to sign up for death, all right? Because they don't want to be changed to a lower state. Well, as a believer, we know it tells us we should be, in these last days, we're going to have to be pilgrims, upon the earth, all right? Verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, once again, believing in Yahawashi, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercies, okay? We're going to wait for Yahawashi mercy, okay, as it tells you. Matter of fact, let's go here. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, okay? Because we're getting ready to trust in our power, all right? We're getting ready to have to step out on faith, all right? Because once again, you either going to take this man's chip or take death, or you're going to take this man's chip and be excommunicated from his society, all right? This is not going to be no easy thing, and that's why we pray to Yahawashi every day that he keeps a covering upon us, as that he will guide us through these last days, okay? That he will lift up standards for us, all right? Because all these things are promised to the elect of the nation of Israel, all right? And a part of that is some are going to have to taste of death. But even in tasting of death, okay, we're going to be secure in Yahawashi. Let's read Isaiah 10:20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as escape from the house of Jacob shall no more again stay, okay, also depend. We're not going to stay or depend, okay, upon him that smote them, speaking about this goddamn devil, but shall stay upon the Lord, Yahawashi, the Holy One of Israel in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption, the crib shall overflow with righteousness. All right. So we're going to depend on Yahawashi. All right. It's going to be a time, okay, a day, okay, where Yahawashi is going to let it be known that we got to step out on faith. When this goddamn devil implements that mark where it's mandatory to buy and sell, okay, mandatory to participate in his kingdom, okay, that's going to be the time where the hopeful elect, okay, Lord willing, we are of that number, is going to make a hard stance concerning this man's kingdom, okay, just as Eleazar made a hard stance in the Greek Empire. Nigga, you ain't getting up under me. Nigga, you ain't getting into, you not defiling my temple. See, we getting ready to make a hard stance. Let's go back. Sirach 2 and we'll start at 6 again. Believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe in him and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. See, Yahawashi is getting ready to have mercy upon his elect. Okay, that's why it tells us to sow into ourselves in righteousness. Okay, hopefully that we may reap in mercy. Okay, because we're going to need that mercy in the times to come. See, there's a lot of Jake still playing around. Okay, thinking Yahawashi is not going to make good on the judgment that's coming down the pike. Okay, that MOTB, okay, is on the way. This devil already got the infrastructure set up for it. All right. And taking that goddamn mark, allowing this devil to get up in you, allowing him to defile your temple is going to come with a major, major, major judgment, Jake. All right. That's why we, that's why I said in this same chapter, up above, All right. Prepare your soul for temptations. We all getting ready to be tested. We all getting ready to be tempted. Okay. And we need Yahawashi to keep the spirit upon us to reject this man's solution that he's going to come with, because he's getting ready to allow chaos, okay, which is his problem, to run rampant in the earth. Okay. And we have to trust in Yahawashi and hope for his mercies. Verse 10 is the point. Look at the generations of old. Okay. And we're getting ready to look at an example of our forefather Eleazar. Okay. Look at the generation of old and see did any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken, or who did he ever despise that called upon his name? Okay. And see that those names, Yahawah, Yahawashi, okay, are linked to salvation. Those names are linked to protection, okay? The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. All right? See, we're running into our strong tower, which is Yahawashi. All right? Verse 11. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction. And see, we're coming into the time where this goddamn devil is about to try to afflict the nation of Israel. But Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi is getting ready to lift up a standard on the elect's behalf. All right, so let's go get this account in the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, and you have to understand this in the book of 2 Maccabees. This is when we were in the Greek captivity, and Hellenization was a big thing. All right, so let's read. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6. We'll start up at 1 and jump down to verse 18. All right, and it says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from their laws of their fathers and to live after the law, and not to live after the laws of the Most High. And you got to understand, these goddamn devils always set up some Jake, okay, to make our people go off. All right. And that's where you got the Christian pastors, okay, even down to some of these Israelite groups, okay, that have taken these 501c3s, okay. They haven't built up a hedge around their congregation. They're not calling on the names of the Lord. They're not, preparing their mind for what's really getting ready to happen. That's why it's very important, very critical and crucial to have the right leaders before you, okay? Because our leadership, starting off with the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, have not shunned to declare the whole gospel unto us, okay? They have told us the names of our power. They have told us what the MOTB is. They have told us not to take it, okay? They have told us not to trust our enemy. Okay, they have told us that America is going to be destroyed via nuclear destruction. Okay, they have told us to prepare our minds to be pilgrims upon the earth. All right, they haven't shunned to declare the whole gospel to us. All right, but even with that, guess what? They have told us they have given us a balance. Okay, even though we're going to have to be pilgrims upon the earth, guess what? Yahawashi is going to lift up standards. Victuals are going to be there. All right. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. So our leadership have given us a balance to everything that we're getting ready to, that's getting ready to happen to us. Okay. Yeah, we're getting ready to enter in at the straight gate, but it's going to be bittersweet. Okay. The only way to get out of America, okay, is to go through the straight gate. All right. And we're not going to bow the knee to the image of Baal. We're not going to bow the knee to this goddamn devil. This devil's not going to get up inside the remnant. Let's read. Verse 18. This says, Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man of an well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with an abomination. So Eleazar put it out there. Okay, I would rather die in glory than to let you goddamn devils defile my temple. All right. And see, we're going to have that same sentiment, okay, as we enter into these last days. We would rather get put to death than allow you goddamn devils to get up in us. All right. Because when you understand prophecy, when you understand scriptures, okay, there's no such thing as death. Okay, we're going to go back to the spiritual realm, rest a little while, and then be resurrected with our Lord Yahawashi. Okay, coming back as immortals. So let's read this again. But choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment. So he spit the shit out of his mouth and said, put me to death. He said he came to his own torment. All right. And see, you know, we have to truly believe that Yahawashi is going to give us a spirit to go through whatever we got to go through Jacob's trouble leading up to salvation, even if we got to take death. Yahawashi is going to put the spirit on us. All right. As it behold them to come that are resoluted to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted, but they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provisions, such as was lawful for him to use. So, you know, Eleazar, okay, was a stand-up guy. You know, it tells you even how, you know, when your ways please the Lord, it make even your enemies be at peace with you. So even though, you know, he's in captivity, you know, he had a good report. And that's how, you know, the men of the Lord should be. OK, we should have a good report, even though we're in captivity. All right. So they basically came to Eleazar with a compromise, you know, use your own flesh, but just lead, you know, your people astray. All right. And that's what a lot of these Israelite leaders have done to this day. OK, but it tells you your covenant with death shall be disannulled. It's better to trust in Yahawashi than to trust in your enemy. All right. And guess what? Eleazar trusted in Yahawashi. Let's read. But they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provisions, such as was lawful for him to use, and make it as if he did eat of the flesh taken of the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in so doing he might deliver from death, and of his old friendship with them found favor. Verse 23, but he began to consider discreetly, and as become of his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by the Most High. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightway to send him to the grave. So, you know, he thought about everything. Okay. He thought about, you know, his upbringing from a young child. Okay. He thought about, you know, his excellent legacy that he had. He said he wasn't going to let these devils defile his temple and put a stain on his legacy. All right. And guess what? This legacy is going to live on forever. All right. Him taking the death rather to bow the knee is going to live on forever. All right. And there's going to be some men that get put to death. OK, over here in America, Babylon the Great. And that's going to be a legacy that he refused to bow the knee. He refused. He refused to take this man's chip. He would rather go back to the spiritual realm than to allow this goddamn devil to taint his legacy. See, once again, we getting ready to come into some times where we're going to have to depend on Yahawashi. And those that don't have that mindset are going to bow the knee. All right. And guess what? That's going to be a stain on your legacy. All right. See, 2/3 is going to be known that you bowed the knee. 2/3 is going to be known that you refuse to repent. All right? You're going to live with that shame for a little while in the kingdom. You know? So let's end right here in Isaiah 41. All right? Because we have a help. All right? This is Isaiah 41 and 10. It says, fear thou not, for I am with thee. Okay, so whatever we got to go through, Yahawashi is going to be with his elect. All right. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee. Yeah. I will help thee. Yeah. I will uphold thee with thy right hand of my righteousness. Behold, all they that were increased against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. They that shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. Okay. And see, this is just one life. All right. This devil's getting ready to lose. How about Yahawashi is getting ready to wipe this nigga out the earth. Okay. Verse 12. They that seek them and shall not find them, even they that contend with thee, they that war against thee, shall be as nothing, and and as a thing of naught. Okay, for the Lord Yahawashi thy power will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thy worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Okay, so our help is in Yahawashi. Okay, and once again, you know, that is a great example of not bending the knee. Okay, even unto death. All right, it is better to take the death, okay, than to allow this goddamn devil to defile your temple. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Yahawashi, Hashem, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the head apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim and Akwaf. Shalom.